Richard, Love Brewing, once again. Today we're going to have a little talk about botanicals. At the moment we seem to be getting 1 to 2 inquiries a day from people who are wanting to make their own gin. Now, how does this work and what is the best equipment for us to use? All I can do is I can talk you through the various processes that are available to us. The T500 is a fabulous piece of kit. What we would do if we were using the T500, we would make our alcohol in the normal way, so that would be coming through at between 92 and 94%. We want it as clean and as pure tasting as we can possibly get. In that case, we would obviously use the pure yeast, and we'd also use glucose powder, dextrose, to give us that dryness and cleanness of taste. So we make our alcohol in the normal way. What we then do is dilute the alcohol down to 40%. We're then going to soak the alcohol with our botanicals. Now, examples of botanicals, we've got quite a lot of them now on the website that we're doing, but here, for example, is the one that is used in nearly every single gin production. It's the juniper berry. The juniper berry is really is the one that gives us that ginny taste. So look through the botanicals and see what we've got. We'll also have on the website a series of recipes that we've used for using the botanicals and making gin. Now these are just guideline recipes, so have a good look and see what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. I'm not really going to run into recipes because that's such a personal thing. But as I say, we take our 40% alcohol that we've diluted down from the 92 down to 40%. And we're going to take that 40% and we're going to add our botanicals to it. We're going to soak them anything from 2 hours to weeks. It really depends on the amount and the taste that you're looking to create. And that's the secret as to why the gins will taste different, because everybody's got a different way of doing it. We've diluted it, as I say, down to 40%. We've added our botanicals and we're leaving it for a length of time. Okay, when we've done that, we then need to get rid of the botanicals. Things like the juniper berries are going to be floating on the surface. So again, we need to get rid of all the stuff that is in there. Once we've done that, and it is possible obviously to add things like this in bags, in hop straining bags, in muslin, all sorts of different things that we can do. So we're going to add it. We've then strained that off. And we're now in a situation where we've got 40% alcohol with a strong gin taste. We're then going to take that and we're going to feed it through the T500. And we're going to extract it out from the T500. And we're going to collect the alcohol at between 92 and 94%. It's strong and it's going to have a gin taste. It's not going to be quite as strong as we would have had it in the first place when we've done our soaking. So bear in mind that you are going to lose a little bit of the flavouring, but this will then give us a lovely clean colour. It's going to be back to water. So the botanicals, which have probably put a bit of colour in there, that will disappear and it will come through the machine at between 92 and 94%. We're then going to take that and we're going to dilute that down to about 40%, which is then going to be the strength that we want for our gin. Now we can dilute that using all sorts of different waters: tap water, bottled water, spring water, distilled water. Again, that's for you to have a play with. I'm not going to suggest anything there because again, it's all a personal thing. But we dilute it down to 40% and we've now got our gin that we're going to use. Now this process can be adapted to all sorts of things. So if we want to make a blackberry vodka, or we want to make a raspberry vodka, or a strawberry vodka, or a strawberry gin, or rose petal gin, which is another of the popular ones, using the rose petals. That's a popular one now, which is coming through on the gin. All these different ones can be done in exactly the same way. I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm not saying this is the wrong way. All I know is that we have sold several machines to the commercial people, and that's how they are doing it. some of the big companies that have set up making specialist gins, and some we've heard recently being sold for a lot of money, have all been doing it this way. There are other ways to do it. So what we could do is we could add the botanicals to our wash and do a fermentation using the botanicals. Now again, we're going to lose flavour by doing the fermentation. You might well need to make it stronger than it actually needs to be, and then put that into your still. And then you can extract it from the T500. You can also take your wash and put that in the still, and we can actually suspend the botanicals in a basket above the liquid. So at the top of the machine, we're going to have our 25 litres of wash, and then above that, we're going to put a basket effect, and we're going to just tie it with a bit of cotton wool, so that we can actually trap that cotton in the lid of the machine. And that way, the botanicals are going to be resting above the alcohol. And then when we extract the alcohol vapours are going to come off, they're going to go through the botanicals up into the still, and when we collect it, it's going to have that lovely botanical flavour to it. So that's another way of doing it. As I say, we have no right and we have no wrong way. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it and how you want to play with it. But this same principle can be taken with all sorts of different flavourings and all sorts of different alcohol that we want to make. It's entirely up to you how you do it and how much time you spend on it. I, as I've said before, don't want to get involved in saying this is a great recipe or this is not a good recipe or whatever. You play, you have the fun, you enjoy yourselves doing it. All I can give you is the guidelines as to how some of the commercial people have done it. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a help. If you then want to run that product through a filter because you're finding it's still too strong, then obviously that's another option that is available to you. We can use a carbon filter. But in the main, the carbon filter is going to strip stuff out. Now people talk to me about when would we use the alembic still? Well, again, the alembic you're going to extract and you're going to retain a lot more of the flavours. So if you're going to do that, the alcohol strength is going to be lower. But again, that is an option for you. I personally like using the T500 and using that. And I also, as I said to you before, have known several commercial people who've done it that way and produced the most fantastic gin. So that's one of the reasons I quite like that way. But you can use the alembic. If we're going to do something like whiskey, where we're going to use grain, then obviously the alembic is an absolute must to be able to retain a lot of the flavours from grain, which is going to make our whiskey. But again, it's all experimenting. There's no right way, there's no wrong way. It's entirely up to you to do what you think is going to be good for you. If you're making stuff and you're wanting to sell this commercially, what I always recommend to people is get your recipe sorted, get something that you know is going to work, even if we're doing it with the T500 on a small scale. Get something that you know is going to work. Once you've then given it to a few friends or your test marketing or whatever you've got, you've then got to apply for a license. Now there's several ways to get the license. You can either get the license by doing your own distillation, but I have to say a lot of people commercially now are buying in ethanol at 92-94%, paying the duty on the ethanol and then diluting that down and adding their spirit to it. They'll then take that and then run it through a T500 to actually do the clean bit, but the actual cost of making ethanol, in a lot of cases, it is cheaper to buy it in. But get your recipe sorted, and then don't forget, you've got to get yourself a license from Customs and Excise. So don't try winging it, do it properly. While I'm on this little subject of the organics, the botanicals, we're talking about botanicals for gin, and that many recipes in the beer and wine market will also have botanicals in. So think in terms of being able to utilise them on a beer. I saw a beer the other day, which was a gin beer. Now all they've done is they put some juniper berries in their mash, and they've obviously got this lovely ginny taste to the brew. Good luck to them. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it. So give yourself a complete open mind and have some fun experimenting. Wine, beer, spirit, liqueur, whatever it is, we've got botanicals that will work for you. If there's anything on the botanical line as well that you're looking for and you think we should be doing, just drop us an email, info@lovebrewing, and we'll get them and add them to our list. The list is growing all the time.